Welcome to the Career Ready Podcast. Learn about resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn, interviewing, and all things you be career ready with the Career Service Center at College DuPage. I'm one of your hosts, Pierre Michaels. Later in today's episode, you will hear my interview with Melissa McKenney, an account manager for education success with Lightcast.
And I'm your other host, Maricela Morales. I'm going to start our episode today with some information about Career Coach. It offers a variety of excellent tools, including an interest profiler that suggests careers based on your interests and skills. You can also explore these careers and gather detailed information on tasks that involve each career, region-specific data that includes average salaries, job requirements, employment projections, in-demand hard and soft skills, and top employers posting jobs again within the tri-state area. This information is valuable for both career exploration and job searching. It can assist you in updating your resume, preparing your interviews, and networking. Speaking of resumes, if you don't have one or are considering a complete overhaul, Career Coach offers a fantastic user-friendly resume builder. Simply input your information, including your job title, and it will populate frequently performed tasks. Once you do this, you can download your resume as a Word document, and this will allow you to make any necessary updates or corrections. I highly recommend Career Coach for its ease of use and effectiveness. And now we have an interview with someone from Lightcast, the creator of Career Coach, Melissa McKenney.
For today's episode, I'm excited to have Melissa McKenney with me to talk about the current job market. Melissa is an account manager for education success with Lightcast. Melissa, thank you for joining us here on the Career Ready Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Pierre. I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. We'll talk a little bit how we're connected in a moment, but just to get things started, I want a little introduction to let our audience, our listeners know who you are. So if you don't mind providing two introductions, one for you, but also Lightcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Melissa McKenney, and I have been working here at Lightcast for almost 3 years. And my passion for working with colleges and understanding labor market data and connecting students to career success stemmed well before I even joined the company. And I was a community college graduate myself back in 2015. And when I was in college, I was so happy to have found the community college circuit because I was able to go and get my degree for a much more affordable price than several of the four-year universities in my region. And then I was able to continue that academic inertia per se and continue all the way up into getting my master's. So I am forever grateful for community colleges and the ability that it gave me to graduate with no debt and to be able to have a successful career. And so to pay it forward, I am thrilled and happy to put my skill sets into working at Lightcast and working with all of the colleges in the Midwest, or I would say probably about 80% if anyone's fact checking me, on working with colleges on helping students understand labor market data in a practical way, so that when they are going and signing up for classes, that they're able to make informed decisions and have a successful career. So that's a little bit about me. As far as Lightcast goes, Lightcast is a premier labor market data platform. We work with both internal institutional researchers as well as externally facing career services. So we are powered by a robust amount of labor market data. So when I am talking to individuals about our data, we are getting our data from both the government as well as job postings. So when we're looking at the job posting side of things, it's helpful to note that we are scraping over 80,000 sites and job boards. So we're able to see what employers are posting for job opportunities as well as skills that they're requesting. And then we're able to see from online public applicant profiles what are applicants listing, so we can make sure that there's a good match between what the employers are requesting as well as what the applicants are listing on their resume. So how does this help students? This helps students by ensuring that they are learning the skills and taking the classes that they need in order to succeed when they're at colleges. So I've been working with College of DuPage for about 3 years, and I am thrilled to share more about what is trending in the labor market.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Melissa. It's great to hear a little bit more about you, that story, starting off at community college, that passion, and then just moving forward from there. And then Lightcast to be working or pulling data from 80,000 different website sources, I think is really impressive. I knew you were pulling a lot of data to give us what Lightcast provides, but I didn't realize it was that much. So as we think about that, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, you just mentioned working with College of DuPage for the last 3 years. One of the products that Lightcast produce is Career Coach. If you listen to the podcast, you've heard us refer to this resource a few times. But Melissa, you're the expert with Career Coach. Can you just talk a little bit more about it and why it is valuable for a job seeker?
Absolutely. So, Career Coach is packaging this very complex and robust labor market data into an easy to use, accessible website platform. So, the link, and I'm sure Pierre will list this on the episode as well, but it's cod.lightcastcc.io. So that is the Career Coach link, and you can access that. You can take an assessment, and that assessment is based on the John Holland and Ryasak theory. So it is more robust than a personality assessment, but it is going deeper into what you would be a good fit for a career match. And so from there, after you take the assessment, you are able to explore careers that would be a good fit for you. And you are able to see from that robust labor market information, you can see if that career is growing in your region. You can see from our government sources what you could expect to earn, all the way from entry-level earnings, that first day on the job, up to that top earning potential. When you are signing up for these classes and you're looking into going into these careers, you want to make sure that you're going into a growing career. So you are able to see employment projections over the next 10 years as well. So you're able to see if that is a growing, declining, or stable opportunity. And then you are also able to see, like I mentioned, from those 80,000 sites and job boards that we're scraping, those skills that employers are requesting. So you can see both hard and soft skills that employers are requesting from the workforce. So as you are maybe looking to level up in your career, maybe you are interested in going back to college or just advancing in your professional current role, look at those skills, and you can then take classes and certifications at the College of DuPage, and you'll see the programs that the College of DuPage offers connected to that opportunity. And you can sign up for classes to gain those skills that you will need in order to be successful in that occupation. So that is a little bit about Career Coach in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. And I want to share a little story with you, Melissa. I was meeting with a job seeker not that long ago, and she was really deflated, been unemployed for a while. And I was giving her a lot of homework, like, here's what you could be doing to move forward in your job search and better stand out. And at the end of the meeting, I'm like, but we've got resources for you. And I showed her Career Coach, and she referred to it as like the grand finale because it was right around the 4th of July when we were meeting. And she was like blown away by Career Coach and like, this is going to be so helpful as I move forward. And so, Melissa, I'm sure you're glad to hear that. And I want to share that so our listeners can also hear that there is some really good, valuable information in there that you could take as you move forward in the job search.
Absolutely. I wish I had had Career Coach when I was graduating from high school because I wanted to be an astronaut one week and a ballerina the next. So this would have really helped me save a lot of time.
Probably about 95% of the people we show Career Coach to say that I wish I knew about this earlier. So thank you for providing that through Lightcast and giving us that overview of Career Coach. But let's go ahead and get a little bit deeper into the job market right now. And I do want to get into the workforce and different things, but let's first hit on some different trends that are, top of mind. We hear about this in the news a lot and different things. But I just want to start off right now with the actual setting. A lot of job seekers I meet with say that they want to work remotely. They're desiring this remote work. But what trends are you seeing from an employer perspective regarding remote work, hybrid work, in person? Maybe there's another option out there I'm not aware of yet.
Yeah. So remote jobs, that is all the rage, especially since 2020 for sure. But the interesting thing is companies are pushing back on that a little bit, and that compromise is coming through hybrid work opportunities. But it was really interesting as I was drilling down into data surrounding a 60-mile radius from College of DuPage. So I really dove deep, and I was able to look at the job posting opportunities over the past year for your region. And interesting enough, there was 1.43 million job postings. So there was almost 1.5 million job opportunities, which is wonderful. We love to see a robust job market like that. However, as I drove down deeper into the data, only 83,000, excuse me, of those positions were advertised as remote. And then drilling down even further, only 18,000 of those positions were advertised as hybrid positions. So it's really interesting to see what applicants want, what employees want versus what we saw trending over the past year in the job market for that region.
Yeah, well, thanks for doing that and drilling down into some of those actual numbers because that's the sense that I was getting as I looked at job postings, talking with employers. But to actually hear some of those numbers is, pretty eye-opening of yes, that remote work may be desired from the job seeker, but from the employer perspective, they're really not out there as much. So if we could just adjust our perspective to maybe being hybrid, all of a sudden we get a lot more options available because anything that's remote, but also anything that's hybrid. And that does make a big difference when we open up those other doors.
Absolutely.
So another trend, something that has become very popular. It's been around for a long time, but the popularity has just been growing and growing. This idea of AI, augmented intelligence, artificial intelligence, and the impact it has on the workforce and different jobs. So, is there anything that you can share to shed some light on what's trending in the job market related to this?
Absolutely. So, without a doubt, over the past few years, AI has taken off. And I would say the incredible traction that has been gained is a lot to how easy it is to use. I live by ChatGPT. I cannot get over how efficient it is. And so, that's just a small piece of the pie when it comes to AI. So, one of the cool functionalities that Lightcast has, especially within our analyst platform, which is used by colleges on an institutional research level, is we can also see automation indexes. So we are able to see how likely is a career going to be automated in the future. So that is helpful for institutions as they are looking at creating programs that are sustainable but also adaptable to our changing environment. So in the real time with AI and how it's impacting us, and if a listener is on the call right now and is interested in going into this exciting new growth of technology, I would highly suggest that they look into jobs for data scientists, software developers, research data scientists, artificial intelligence managers, and they can explore these a lot on ONET, which is a public facing website. But then also, I would highly suggest that they go to your career coach site as well, because that career coach site is pulling in that regional labor market data. Like I mentioned, they can see the skills and how much they would be earning. They don't need to even take the assessment right off the bat. If someone is jumping on that career coach site and they know right away, hey, I want to be a data scientist, they can just search that and they can see the programs that the College of DuPage is offering that is a match for that occupation. And so looking at this further, I drilled down into some skills, as well as the programs that are being currently offered at the College of DuPage. So College of DuPage is offering a computer information technology degree, as well as a computer and information science degree as well. And as students are looking to skill up and get the skills needed to be successful in working with artificial intelligence, the top skills were Python, SQL, Amazon Web Services, R, and Java. So I was drilling down deeper. I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole because technology is so fascinating. And I wanted to look into our top growing skills for software developers. And so looking out over the next 2 years for skill projections, if someone is a software developer right now listening on the call and they want to have a truly important skill, I would recommend that they look into systems development lifecycle because there is a 21.2% growth for that skill over that next 2 years. Secondly, I would recommend that they are skilling up into GitHub. That's at an 18.6% projection, and object-oriented programming, which is growing at a 17.1% growth by 2026. And that is all for that Illinois state area. So this is very centralized to that College of DuPage region. So if you are listening on the call and you are a software developer, there's a little layup for you right there.
Well, thanks for giving us some of that insight. If someone wants to tap into that growing trend that's better supporting the advancement of artificial intelligence, because even though it's here, there's a lot more to come. So it's great to get some of that insight. So are there other trends you've noticed within the workforce that you think job seekers should be considering?
Yes. So when it's coming to the workforce, I looked at our projections table. So the projections table is essentially our crystal ball per se. We are able to look out 10 years to see top growing opportunities. So I'm going to go through the next top 5 growing occupations in Illinois for someone with an associate's degree in the next 10 years. So this is for people on the call who maybe they are interested in going back to school or looking to do something a little bit different with their career. If any of these 5 top growing occupations are an aha moment for you and you are interested in that, I would highly recommend that you get in touch with Pierre in the College of DuPage and start a conversation because these occupations are going to be growing in your region. So this is good news here. So without further ado, the top 5 growing occupations in the next 10 years are starting number 5 is dental hygienist. Number 4 is computer network support specialist. 3 are physical therapy assistants. 2 are paralegals and legal assistants. And the first one, the top growing job in the next 10 years is, drum roll please, I don't know if anyone heard that on either end, but it is preschool teachers. So we are in a huge demand for teachers, not only within the state of Illinois, but across America as a whole. So if you are resonating with any of those 5 top growing occupations, well, get in touch with the College of DuPage.
Well, thank you for giving us that top 5 list. I was trying to do a drum roll, but I've never been good at that. So thanks for not making me do it for you. Thanks for running through those. And, here at College DuPage, we have programs related to all of those. So it's nice to hear that as a college that we're addressing some of those needs there. Let's go ahead and shift a little bit. So that was just kind of like general market trends, but just to start looking more at the actual workforce. When you talk to employers or as you're doing this research, what are they most concerned about right now?
This is a hot topic. The most important topic at hand right now is quick turnaround. So employers, they need students that already have learned the skills within the classroom and they can apply that immediately to the job. So number 1, students having the right skills for the job, but also having students be aware of what those skills are. So that's why I highly recommend that knowledge is power and that individuals, regardless of where they are in their career, are using labor market information to see those top skills by our Lightcast data. Because it's amazing the mismatch on what we'll see between what employers are requesting versus what applicants are listing as having. Sometimes that graph is just obsolete when it comes to the applicant side, and it will be for things that you would just think is a no-brainer to list. When I was looking at a lot of nursing jobs, a top requested soft skill was compassion, and people were not listing compassion, and that was off the charts being asked for by employers, but applicants were rarely listing that. Another skill is communication, and that is applicable to all jobs. So if you are listening to this and maybe you're updating your resume, highly, highly recommend that you put down communication as well as team building and collaboration. Those are skills that are being highly sought after by employers. And it sounds like it would be simple enough to list, but I think that people don't think about listing that sometimes. And then, as a little bit of a pro tip as well, you would be surprised how often job postings are requesting a driver's license when it comes for a qualification. So as silly as it may sound to put driver's license on your resume, maybe I consider putting that down because so many employers are requesting that skill in job postings. So just make sure that you're highly skilled, know the job well, and when you are going in to interview with the employer, highlight those skills explicitly so that they know that you're the right fit for the job.
Yeah, a lot of times when I'm meeting with a job seeker, we're talking about this idea of keyword matching and being aware of what the employer is looking for. And I'm going to bring it back to career coach for a moment because I meet with a job seeker and I direct them to career coach. Career coach is pulling some of that together. Every employer is going to have slightly different expectations, but career coach is providing the top skill sets in both those hard categories, those industry technical abilities that you first talked about, but also in those soft skills, those very transferable base skill sets of compassion, communication. So it's great that career coach is providing that, but it's good to hear that you're noticing that on a bigger end, that sometimes there's just that disconnect. And to take the time to do that research will really help you stand out as you move forward in the job search. Tenfold.
And I would say as a final tip, with employers and with the skills and what they're most concerned about right now is the skill of project management. That is so highly sought after. That is sought after in Illinois. It is highly sought after in the United States. So for any listeners on the call, really brush up on those project management skills. Project management is beautiful because it's not just for a business related. If you are working in construction, nursing, wherever you are charged with tasks and getting things done. And if you can articulate that you are good at project management to an employer, you are so much further ahead of the game than you think.
Yeah, the always being able to communicate the transferable nature of your skill sets is really valuable. You may have just hit on this, but what other skills or attributes do employers look for when hiring?
Absolutely. A common theme as well is soft skills. So employers are really focused. I don't want to say they're just focused on soft skills, but when I am talking to employers, they will say if someone has these skills, we can always teach them the technical skills. So if you are someone on the call and maybe you just don't feel, maybe you have a little bit of imposter syndrome sometime and you're afraid to, go for that new job, I would just highly recommend that you just apply anyway. Just bring your best self, bring your personality and the skills that you're confident in having, because employers are looking for trainable people. They're looking for people who are adaptable, easy to train, good collaborators, and very team oriented, but also driven. So if you have those skills, do not get hung up that you may not have a particular hard skill or hard software skill in your toolbox. If you have the skills that you already have and you feel like you're a good match for the job, just convey that and it will all work itself out. I promise.
It's good to hear. Through our podcast, we emphasize the NACE competencies quite a bit. So those tie right into what Melissa was just talking about, those soft skills, those transferable nature, because employers can teach those technical abilities, but they can't teach you to work in a team. They could request you do it, but they can't teach you. They don't have the time and energy to do that. So thanks for highlighting that. And then just as we wrap up here, are there any other tips or information you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would just say, just be confident, brush up your resume, really be well-versed in the job that you're applying for, know those hard and soft skills. And if you feel like there is a gap, I just can't plug this enough because I'm so passionate about it. Just visit the Career Coach site. If you've never been there, I just recommend that when you jump off this call that you just visit it for 30 seconds and just take the assessment and just start exploring because It's fantastic. It's a phenomenal resource and it will help you fill in the gaps of skills that maybe you don't have. Maybe you could get a quick certificate or micro credential that will change the whole trajectory of your career. And that is currently offered at the College of DuPage. So I would say just keep a broad horizon. Don't pigeonhole yourself into any one career and always be adaptable.
Well, I love those ending words. So thank you, Melissa, for joining here, providing us with this great insight. And I'll be seeing you around, and everyone listening could see the work that you're doing through Career Coach and the Lightcast product that we have.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me today. It was great to join you.
So, Mara, you just heard that wonderful interview with Melissa talking about the workforce, Career Coach, Lightcast, all those different things that are going on. So what stood out to you?
So I truly appreciated her highlighting the absence of crucial soft skills, as this is a key message that we as an office tend to try to convey when discussing anything from career exploration, resume writing, and interview preparation. What do you think?
Yeah. I just had an appointment with someone going through a career transition. He got his degree, didn't get to work in the field. He's been doing something that he really isn't passionate about. And he's like, I don't have the skills to move forward. But he was working or is working within the restaurant service industry. So we were able to talk about a lot of great skill sets that he has. So I think that's an important point to bring up. I'm glad Melissa talked about it, just because we talk about it a lot. Anyone listening to the podcast, in our past episodes, we emphasize the NACE competencies a lot. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about when we say these soft skills, the leadership, the communication, teamwork, all these various things just have a lot of value to it.
Absolutely. When it comes to soft skills, these are transferable skills. Communication skills is not going to be limited to just one pathway. You can take that to any occupation. Leadership skills, organizational skills, problem-solving skills. For better or worse, life happens, right? So things are bound to go wrong. And so we're going to have to think critically. We're going to have to know how to problem solve. We're going to need to know how to communicate. And so when it comes to soft skills, these are all crucial transferable skills. But then it's about knowing, well, what are the skills that they're looking for? And so whenever you're talking to somebody, how would you recommend individuals knowing what skills a prospective employer is looking for?
Going back to this whole idea of the soft skills, the transferable skills, I've heard these also referred to as human skills, which it fits, but I also feel like it downplays them because it makes it sound like, oh, just like anyone could do it. And then it kind of like undervalues it. But when we start looking at job descriptions or opportunities, doing the research through Career Coach or some other tools, we start seeing the description of the job. But then what are the skills to be able to do that? Sometimes it is technical skills needed, but a lot of times it is these soft skills, these very transferable skills of being able to look at them and problem solve. So I think those are, again, just great things to be really reflecting on and really thinking about how you do it. And that is how you can start identifying, oh, this is what I can be communicating to prospective employers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is something that I try to stress with individuals that I meet with when they are writing their resumes. I tell them that when they are writing their resumes, they're also preparing for an interview. You reflect on first, kind of going back to what you were saying, you look at a job post, or sometimes job posts aren't necessarily very descriptive. But this is also going back to what Melissa said, where they in Career Coach lists the hard and the soft skills that they're looking for. This is such an invaluable tool. Please use it, guys. They will tell you for each occupation what so many of these employers are looking for. So then you reflect on yourself. How is it? What skills do I possess, and how have I used them? And then you go ahead and you illustrate in your resume, through your tasks, in your professional summary. You tell your prospective employers, again, based on the job description or on what Career Coach says is in demand for that occupation, that is going to tell you what your audience needs, what your prospective employer needs. So that is what you put in your resume. And then you prepare to illustrate that in your interview as well. And so how do you help your students, your clients from the community? How do you help individuals illustrate that succinctly? How do you help answer questions regarding their skills succinctly in an interview?
Oh, that's a difficult one, right? Especially when you don't have that client or student job seeker with you, or hypothetically speaking, right? It's hard to address because it's so situational based. But being able to, again, do a lot of self-reflection.
Absolutely.
I think I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but the way I see a lot of this preparation is really about taking a Venn diagram approach, where we have, if you're not familiar with the Venn diagram, right, it's the two circles with the overlapping center. On one side of this Venn diagram, the first circle, we have us as an individual, as the job seeker. Then on the other side, we have the employer and the research that we're doing. And then when we can start seeing the overlap areas, so doing that self-reflection of here's who I am, how that aligns to the research of the industry, the job description, all those things, that is when we start identifying, okay, these are the things that I want to be set to talk about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then formulating those responses using the STAR method, right?
Yep.
So absolutely. And then, of course, the STAR method is situation, task, action, results, which our devoted listeners would definitely know about. But if you don't know, please, please, please look it up. It's a fantastic method that will help you formulate succinct but effective interview responses.
Anything else from the interview that stood out to you?
I really liked what Melissa had mentioned about AI and the top 5 occupations that will be in demand in the near future. I think it's really important to know, to kind of have a pulse on the industries that will be in demand, because as we know, education is it's an investment, both in time and money. And so we want to know that our investment will be worthwhile. When we leave college, when we finish our certification, our degree, will we have jobs to go into? Will there be a job market to enter? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was good to hear those lists and her take on AI, because a lot of people are panicking about AI. You and I have had this conversation a few times where people are like, my job's not going to be there in the future, or this job won't be there in the future. And there will be jobs there, right? Some of those jobs that Melissa listed off when we were talking about AI, I personally was thinking, well, some of those would have been obsolete as AI comes into play. But it's really not about AI replacing the jobs. It's being able to utilize AI to do those jobs more efficiently. So I think that was a really good point to take away as she was talking about those different trends in AI. Something else that stood out to me as she was sharing the data, right? You and I, again, have had this conversation before where job seekers have come and said, I'm looking for remote work.
Yes.
And she just provided us with the data to back it up. Yes, we understand the personal interest and value of being able to work remotely. But when we start really applying that to our options, it starts limiting what we can be pursuing. So there's data out there to help support this idea that even though we may desire this, and the pandemic may have at one point pushed towards that, employers are pushing back, and those that offer the positions will be controlling the market on that.
I completely agree. And as they are the ones that have the strongest influence in what is available, then we have to be prepared to have some flexibility, because as Melissa said, you will have more options if you just add in the option of hybrid. Mm-hmm. You may not be 100% remote. But just making the switch to hybrid will open up some possibilities. It'll at least provide you with more options than what you would have if you were 100% remote, because this current market isn't providing 100% remote at this time.
Well, thank you for helping me digest all that information that Melissa provided. And thank you to all of our listeners, and special thanks to Melissa from Lightcast for joining us on the podcast. We hope you have a better understanding of some current job market trends, and be sure to join us for our next episode as we talk about researching careers, and more specifically researching them from a blank slate.